Next video. So we're going to look at um, some altcoins. Okay. So, right, what are we interested in? Okay, render. Right. Okay, render. Now on that day, I got lucky and got it at sub $7. I don't know how I even managed it, but for once I was around at a nice little sell-off. But yeah, a few things to be aware of is Render is still training this large parallel channel, okay? And you can see how many touches we've had in the channel, and I mean that's a touch up there. We can fix that a little bit better. Yeah, okay. So can you see that? See how many touches we've had, okay, in the top of the parallel channel and bottom. And we're currently retesting the middle part of the parallel channel now, right? And yeah, so we can get rid of these now, I think. So we did have, I mean, you can see the RSI was as high as 90, and now we've come back into 50s there, and we did have a sell signal, okay, which was on the Luxalgo oscillator matrix, which I use. We had a sell signal about there, which is a bit preemptive. Nothing on a monthly to be aware of. Now, if we uh, if we look at some levels now on render, right, and I will say, like I said in the Bitcoin video I've just uploaded, I don't know if we may have continuation. Now I have bidded on all of the altcoins I'm interested in, which we'll cover, and the expectation is that Bitcoin will drag the market up as Bitcoin comes and hopefully reclaims important levels. But if Bitcoin comes lower and continues to retrace, um, then it's going to be a lot more pain for altcoins. Okay. Um, Now obviously market close is coming up. A lot of these are going to reset. So do we on market open for tomorrow? We see a bit of a pump on a lot of these, a good bounce, and we have seen a very nice bounce on a lot of these altcoins already, with 10, 15% bounces. So do we have continuation and then higher? We're just gonna have to see. But listen, I'm not ruling out that render is completely done here. I'm not ruling it out. We could easily enough, bear in mind we're on a 3-day time frame here, come back into the range here between $3 to $5. Okay, I mean if we did do that, we would start to lose the parallel channel, and we will cover a couple of alts where we have lost parallel channels. So yeah, it would put this at jeopardy, but I think probably being quite conservative that this is probably the bounce that we've been hoping for, and you can see now we've potentially got the start of, let's go to 12 hour. Yeah, I think if we continue to retrace, then we are going to get maybe a hidden bullish divergence propping up, okay, where you've got a low in the RSI and then you end up getting a lower low. But as far as price action goes, you've got a low and then you've got a higher low. So we're just gonna have to see how this one pans out. Um, and you can see on the daily time frame we did get two sell signals on the oscillator matrix and a bearish divergence there, which also supports the bearish divergence in the RSI. So can you see here? Yeah, the high here, higher high, high in the RSI, lower high, quite a subtle bearish divergence there. And then we've just rolled after that, and we have in fact completely filled a fair value gap. Okay, so if we take a look at the 3-day time frame, okay, and you can see this is kind of the level I was looking at. Any bids around this level quite now is a good level to start bidding at. Let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, yeah, so you can see here. Okay, it's buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, and you can see we've got another one here. Okay, which we haven't filled and we've only partially tapped into. Okay, and that's our structure break here, right? So that's our break of structure for continuation. And then of course, obviously with fair value gaps, what do we need? We need, oh no, let's get rid of that one. Break of structure, did I get rid of it? Must have got rid of it by accident. Okay, break of structure. Okay, so break of structure, yeah. Displacement, impulsive move, top of the parallel channel, and then retracement. So yeah, touch of the top of the parallel channel. As you can see, we've had many touches. It's optimal for a short. Do we then retrace into this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency around $5? You know, who knows? We could potentially. With now, market makers have now given. We've got another wick here. Okay, sell side liquidity to chase around $7 now. Yeah, so I am charting this against the United States, against the dollar and Coinbase, but it would probably be better on Binance, to be honest, but we'll just continue on here. I think there was a bit more data that we can look at. And we also have this wick that they manufactured, okay, which partially tapped into the fair value gap. So there's a high chance, and there is a high chance, that if Bitcoin doesn't recover, then we just come and hunt this liquidity, this low here, this sell side. Okay, we just come and hunt this, right? This sell side liquidity, and then we come and fill this. Come and fill this fair value gap, right? And if you can see on the weekly fair value gap, okay, which we have lost, if we don't start to recover, then that fair value gap on the weekly is invalidated. But you will notice that we do have a fair value gap that isn't invalidated or violated on the 1 day, or 12 hour, in fact, and on the 1 day. Okay, and you would see that it's perfectly, on both time frames, perfectly bounced and recovered from. Okay, so overall, there's a chance that render does recover here. If it does recover, we're looking at entries on the intraday time frame. Okay, and you know, just like now, we're starting to see structure being built. Okay, right. Let's get rid of the parallel channel. I had that parallel channel for now. I mean, you can just see how messy that is, but yeah, we just want to see continuation, okay, and come and start to just reclaim structure, okay, and that's it. So a good level to reclaim, $8.76. Okay, we were consolidation on the intraday. Well, this week we were consolidating there all week, and that's what we had lost. You can see how important that level is to go and reclaim. Let's move up. some more time frames yet. So let's move to the 4 hour. Yeah, so can you see how important that level is to reclaim, right? And that was that was in fact our weekly low that we went and lost. And in fact, it was last week's weekly low. Okay. So we've taken the weekly low on render, and now that's a level for us to reclaim. It's just as simple as that. And you can see in the oscillator matrix that in previous times where we've seen there was, let's have a look, let's move up into the time frames. Okay, you can see the burst divergence we had from here to here. See, from there to there we had a sell signal, and then we came down. Okay, you can see where we had bottomed last time back in January before we continued. Yeah, we're back at those levels. Okay, so we're back at level, essentially from the strength side of the indicators, we are back at levels that we were in January. Okay, so that's just how renders sort of completely rolled, and you can see how overbought render was. Okay, in this band here, and we're now starting to enter the green band, which will be a good opportunity to buy. And you can see how the purchase from there, put in a new leg, was quite fruitful. And you see 12 hour, so that's why we've had a strong bounce. Okay, and yeah, what else do we have? Okay, let's get rid of that. If we, now that we've looked at some very basic levels there, so we want to reclaim $8.70 on render and not start to test $5, okay, until take this wick. If we think potentially from a Elliot Wave perspective, there's potential that this is the top of our wave 3. Okay, let's just see. Okay, so you can see, let's do one. Yeah, so you can see fib wise from January 2022, okay, to the bear market lows, which would have been capitulation, all the way down here. Okay, you can see that we've been 14 fib extension. And then if we apply a primary count, okay, so it'd be potentially something like this, 1, 2, and then you'd take a 1, 2 intermediary count, and then a 3 for, okay, and that's potentially a 3 for our overextended account. Okay, and now we should be in a shallow and long drawn out correction for render. Okay, and then we begin to put in a primary wave 5. So let's just, okay, so yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in this Elliott wave structure. Okay, so you can see primary count wave 1. You can see we retraced 50% of this move, this big impulsive move, displacement, remember, and like I discussed in the other clip, this is a breakaway fair value gap. Okay, so it's just continuation. Okay, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Okay, come and test the 50% level of that, right? So 50% retracement, breakaway gap. How does it look on the monthly? You see, okay, so you can see got the big gap on the monthly as well. Okay, see, so this is why I do focus on the likes of fair value gaps and imbalances in the market quite a bit, because we do tend to retest. We do tend to retest and, fill in that structure. Okay, it's just rebalancing the market. It's just as simple as that. Buyers and sellers rebalance both sides. Okay, so that was a partial fill. Okay, yeah, partial fill there. Okay, so then we've got is for the overextended wave. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pop that there for now and change the count. Okay, remember 1 degree lower. Okay, and we can see how. So a typical wave 2 retracement, and you have to remember a wave 2 and wave 4 corrective waves can never ever be the same. They can never be the same. And a wave 2 correction is typically, as deep as it ideally is minimum as 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. Okay, and it can be as deep as the 786. Okay, so you can see from that retracement, we were more so, okay, between the 618 and 786. Okay, so that's perfect. That's fine. And then let's see. Okay, so that's our overextended wave. You can see we've got our wave 4 pullback there, which we can measure out. Okay, so we should expect this to be around the 382 to 286. Let's have a look. Okay, so can you see there? 236, 382. So again, that's a perfect retracement for wave 4. For render, okay, let's change that to yellow. Okay, so we have yeah, okay, so we've got a primary count for render here. So we've got the 1, 2, 0.5 to 618 retracement, which is bob on. Then we've got the overextended wave, 1, 2, okay, 3. That's our overextension. Okay, and we can in fact measure out how high the extension was. Okay, and so we should expect to see it be at least minimum 1618. See, there we go, perfect, 1618. Okay, can you see that? Okay, 1618 to 2 extension. So yeah, extension wise, it's a bit overextended if it's going to 2. Yeah. Okay, so 1.618. So yeah, so that's perfect. That's a perfect. Oh, didn't mean to take that. Meant to take this. Okay, so perfect extension on the wave 3. Wave 3 lesser degree, okay, of our count, and then we can see just how large our primary count, which will give us targets for our wave 4, our primary count on It's 2618. Okay, a little bit to K3. So there we go. So yeah, perfect. So that's perfect too. Okay, yeah. So if we take this simply from an Elliott Wave perspective, this is potentially the top, and in fact you can see how bob on it is on the 3. Yeah, and from the rules and guidelines, that a wave 3 overextension, yeah, would typically end somewhere between the 2618 and 3. So yeah, from an Elliott Wave perspective, there's a good chance that render has in fact topped for the wave 3 overextension, and we're now going to be in a wave 4 retracement. So I guess now we need to just figure out where potential bottom of the wave 4 is, knowing everything else we know with the big impulse move that we put in and the retracement into gaps, fair value gaps, buy side imbalances and sell side inefficiencies. So let's take our wave 2 pullback correction, okay, and let's pop in 382. Okay, so there we go. So there's potential. There is potential that we should soon find the bottom for this wave 4. Okay, that's wave. Yeah, wave 2 pullback. Okay, off the high, which is the all-time high, which is our local high. So there's an expectation that we could potentially, and I mean, a 382 pullback would put us back at the last all-time high, around $5, which would, in fact, correlate with a little monthly fair value gap here. Yeah, a very minor fair value gap there. I mean, you can barely see that. Okay. So there is potential. There is potential. So if Bitcoin doesn't regain strength, ASAP, who's saying that this can't happen? Because it could. If we don't bounce from this breakaway gap, why could we not come lower and easily enough hunt this liquidity here and just turtle soup up? Go search up turtle soup. Okay, but this is, this is ultimately what it's looking like. And if another thing to consider is, if you look at this from a market structure perspective, okay, right, so you take the swing low for the wave 4 pullback, okay, and the swing high for this lesser degree and overextended wave 3 impulsive move. We're still currently in a premium from the wave 4 pullback to the wave 5 all-time high. We're still in a premium, so we can enter a discount marker on render, which will put us at a good retracement for a wave 4 pullback for our primary count. So yeah, this in fact is kind of what I'm favoring. So if Bitcoin doesn't start putting legs in ASAP, and even then there's potential that, you know, more liquidity from altcoins as Bitcoin dominance moves to 50 to 60%, you know, this could mean render continues to retrace. But yeah, I do want to make note that we will have potentially, in fact, it would correlate as well with a hidden bullish divergence. If we continue to see the retrace on render. And that would also support, if you take a look at the oscillator matrix, okay, from the last impulsive move to wave 2 pullback on the lesser degree count, that would in fact correlate with the oscillator matrix and essentially where we are now, making this move lower, okay, into oversold and then back up again. Just like we did here, okay, here. And then we entered a big, see, from sell model into big buy model, and you can see price action was sort of similar. Yeah, we had the top, we had a little bounce at the top, little bounce, and then it was kind of a slow bleed. I mean, this was a bit more capitulation, but we could have, you know, slow bleed into these retracements, okay, just like there, okay, and then it was up, yeah, and it would correlate with the RSI coming lower, hidden bullish divergence, and then back up again. But you know, this, bear in mind, this is from the 3-day time frame. A lot of altcoins are repeating similar. This will put us back on track with a typical cycle in crypto and in altcoins. Okay, and you know, we're going to see high, you know, those new highs, those targets that we are after in the likes of render. But you know, this is potential short-term pain, and it could be brought on by the likes of the halving. Okay, so there's a potential. There's a potential of this happening. Um, so it's just watching for the bounce and essentially the levels to be reclaimed. And the level was the range that we the range that we had. Okay, which was the weekly low that we lost. So it was $8.70, wasn't it? So yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on render. Yeah. Um, I guess that's it for render, and we'll move on to some other altcoins in another video.